Okay, so let us go back to the bank marketing data set again. So since you know the purpose for the bank marketing, they would like to use the information to predict their customers will subscribe their term deposit or not. And also, you know how many instances for this data set. More than 45,000 instance records. 有几笔的资料，45000多笔的资料 ，more than 45,000 records for the data set. Well, how many attributes? The attribute we also call variables, 变数 like x, like y, or x, y. So how many numbers, how many attributes for the data bank marketing? 17 variables. Okay, so let us go to the more detail about data set information in this area. So let's describe this documentation. They tell the more detail for each attribute, each variables. Okay, so you may see here attribute information. 好，来看一下，这边就是我们的变数名称。Later, I will teach you how to download the data set. 等一下会教各位怎么样去 download 这个 data set. 就像我们现在去买菜一样 ，right? If we want to cook a dinner, so you have to go to the supermarket to get some materials, so maybe get some vegetables, beef, steak, or cook, right? So the first is you have to know what kind of data you are going to download. Okay, so here is the attribute information. Okay, so for the first variable, so you may see is the age. Okay, so you know the age is the age for each customer, right? 这个是客户的年龄。Later you will see the more detail for the data set. Okay, the first column, the first variable we call age for each customers. The job for each customers, right? Is a category. 什么是 category? 名目型的，不是连续型的。Like the age we call numericals. 数值型。Okay? My age is 50. Maybe your age is 21. It's numerical. 数字 integer. But for the job, is a category variables. 变数型名目型的类别型 category. Admin. Okay, 蓝领阶级的 okay, maybe a houseman, retire. So you may see how many categories for the job titles. Okay. The third variable we call the marital status, 婚姻状况 divorced, married, or maybe single, or maybe unknown. If the customer won't have the information, they didn't have any information for the marital status. Okay, it's also category. 类别型的变数 ，education 教育的程度 ，default had the credit in default, housing does their customers has housing loan 房贷 yes or no loan personal loan 个人的信贷 okay contact months so rest of the variable you have to look at the more detail for each explanation for the variables. If you don't know the English, my suggestion you can to copy all the descriptions and translate in Google. Okay, translation. So you can translate to have a better idea for each description for the data. For the last one, we call it the Y variables. They indicate to know has the client, the customer subscribed a term deposit. So this variable, it indicates did the customers buy the term deposit or not. If yes, they did buy the term deposit. If no, the customer didn't buy the term deposit, right? Okay. 好，那这边没有问题的话 so you have to have your own descriptions, your own idea, the class notes for the variables detail. And my suggestions, so you may to make another text box area for this one. Control V to just to all the bank, the customer, the bank client data, okay? Age all the way to the output variables Y. 好，这边没问题。啊，这些笔记本你就自由发挥 ，OK？ It's freestyle for your class note. Okay, it's time for us to let you know how to download the data set from this website. 好，接下来就怎么样去下载咯。好，so each variable, each data set, so they all have the same format for each data set. The name for the data set, abstract, the detail for the instance attributes, and also you have to find the attribute information for each variable. 好，懂了吗？好，这些大概就以后的资料集都长成这个样子。所以说各位以后就要把这个每一个变数都要理解啊，大概是什么。好，懂了吧？This is the basic process to understand the data you have to investigate. As I mentioned before, if you don't know the variables name, the meaning for each variables, how can you do the analyze for the data? 对不对？啊，所以说你一定要理解哦，原来是年龄。So what is the age for our analyze? Does it help for us to analyze? Do we need the variables? 我们分析的时候需不需要年纪？要不要？刚也知道，当然可能要了，对不对 ？Okay. Okay, so next step, when we know all the descriptions for the data set, it's time for us to download the data set. Okay, so you may download the data set from this hyperlink here, data folder, Did you find the hyperlink there? 找到没？Data folder 就是资料夹的意思。Folder is a directory. Okay, you just click the data folder. So you go to another website here. Okay, so there are 2 zip files in this website. 看到没 ？Okay, so you just click. To save, maybe you can have a new folder in your, maybe let me create a new folders for this data. MarTech. Since our course is MarTech for Python, right? 2022. 好，你们就自己建一个资料夹啊 ，MarTech 2022 ，and also save the first zip file in the folder we just created. 好，存档。Also to download the second zip file, 第二个。好 ，download 了没有？好，没问题了。Okay, so let us go back to the file we just download. The 2 zip files we just download. Okay, show me in the directory. Okay, 好，对了，这2个咯，对不对？这我们刚才建好的这个 MarTech 2022啊，这个资料夹里面 ，so there are 2 zip file we just download. 好，刚才下载下来的，有没有问题？我现在教的都很慢哦，啊，前几周我都教慢慢的，好不好？啊，好，有没有问题？有问题就举手，不用害羞啊。等一下，我们大概会让各位分组啊。我们现在同学确定的话，我会做一下分组。Okay, so you know, next we have to unzip the files we just download. Alright, 打2下 ，double click, so you may unzip the file. 当然了 ，first，你一定要有这个解压缩的档案哈，没有的话就自己去找一下啊。好，那第2个档案 ，so you have to unzip these 2 zip files and copy to the same directory we just created. 啊，就在我们刚才创建的这个资料夹里面。So you may find two subdirectory. 啊，你看到有2个次目录了，看到没？好，再跟各位讲一下哈，这些的过程啊，以后碰到任何的资料夹，很多都是动作都是一样的。好，所以说老师大概假设这些的案例会讲1次、讲2次、讲3次。啊，第1次不熟，第2次还是不熟，第3次稍微有一点懂，第4次啊应该就要懂了。OK。好，有没有问题 ？Okay, so we just take a look at we just unzip 我们来看一下。好，里面呢就有一些的档案 ，bank additional .csv。bank additional full.csv 啊，这两个。那另外一个 bank directory， 它是一个 bank.csv、bank full.csv 啊，一共有4个档案，看到没有 ？So you may find 4 CSV file. And later I will tell you what is CSV file means. 好，没有问题的话，来接下来 ，so we go back to the parent directory. 好，那不好意思 ，just go back to the data descriptions. Here they have the descriptions for the 4 data set. 啊，这边它有4个资料集，刚才老师谈到的，还有去做解释，看到没？啊，第一个就是 bank additional food with all examples， 哦，这个是最完整的，啊 ，with 21 input， 就是20 input， 就是有20个变数，还包含了1个变数，就是刚才的 y， 然后 bank addition .csv only 10% of the examples 啊，所以说这边只有取10%的 examples 取样啊。那这个 bank full .csv it only contains 17 input 啊，只有17个变量。前面刚才的这个 full additional 那个 additional 的意思呢，就是因为它多了这几个 social and economic attribute 啊，这些 open data 啊，好，这些没关系，你先理解，等一下我们会看到这个资料到底长怎么样。So I will show you how the more detail for the data we are going to investigate. Okay, the bank.csv only with 10% of the examples. 好，所以说我们一共有4个档案，对不对？还记得吧？哈，好。Okay, so let us go back to the chapter 2. 好，我们来看一下，我们现在要分析哪个档案呢？来分析这个档案。最多的档案，最多资料的档案。So we have to investigate the bank additional full.csv。好，我们现在要分析这个档案。好，有没有问题？好，没有跟老师同步的，请举手一下，我就留一点时间给各位。都同步了哦，答案都解压缩了，是不是 ？So all the files you have unzipped。好 ，OK， 那没有问题，程度都很不错，还是我讲的很好啊。开始要有过冬天了哈，讲一些冷笑话。Okay, so let us go back to the directory we just created, bank additional, because we have to analyze this data. 这个答案大小是5 MB 啊，5 kilobyte， 5 mega kilobyte， 5 MB 的 data。Okay, first we have to look at the content for this CSV file. 好，可以 double click because this format we can use Excel to look at the content for this file. 好，来看一下，好，看到没 ？Okay, so that's all the records for the data set. For the first row, 第一列啊，第一行有第一列有没有 ？Is the name for the variables. So you look for millions. For the first is age, right? 是不是我们刚才看到的第一个变量 age？ 第二个呢 ？What about the second variables? Job. Okay. What about the last one? Y. 最后一个是 Y， 对不对 ？So how many instance 有多少笔记录 ？So you can go down to the end. How many records? 41,000 41,188，因为要减1，对不对 ？Okay, how many records? 41,188 啊，41,888笔的资料。好，老师讲的很慢哦，对不对？好，所以说以后哈，你们也不要担心，你说我是国贸或者是其他的，以后资料就长得这样子啊。今天是4万笔的资料，以后是2000笔的资料，以后是400万笔的资料，以后更厉害的时候是4000万笔的资料，4000万笔的资料，4亿笔的资料，好吧？原理是一样的。The process for data analysis is all the same. It doesn't matter how big is your data. Is you have to familiar with the process of the data analysis. 只要你了解这个程序，资料量大小是没什么关系的。Okay, so what is CSV means? So we use. Okay, what is CSV? So you can use the English 也可以用英文CSV means comma separate value， 用逗点分割出来的值。Okay, so when we look at the data here， 我把它放大一点。看到没 ？They separate by semicolon. OK， 所以每个栏位呢，它是用 semicolon 做。但是我们刚才的定义 ，so we see what is CSV means, comma. So it doesn't matter. So you can use comma， 可以用逗点分割。Also, you can use like this example. You can use semicolon 或是分号这些都可以做区隔。Even you can use a space 一个空白键，通通都可以。So this format we call the text format 文字档的格式 ，not an Excel。OK， 不是 Excel 的格式。这边没问题了吧？所以说解释了什么是 CSV。Okay, so if you want to make a class notes to know what is CSV means, so you also my suggestions is you just to copy this one, just to memorize. 在这边有没有 brand marketing？ 那这边你就知道了。OK, just create a block for texting. CSV means. Okay, CSV means comma separate value. Okay, so you can use a comma or could maybe use the semicolon to separate the different variables. 因为我们有太多的栏位，17个栏位嘛，20个栏位，每个栏位呢，我们用 column comma 或者是 semicolon 这些都可以去做分割。好，那没有问题吧？这个我们 so you use the Excel. We don't use Excel for analyze. 我们并不会用这个 Excel 因为 Excel 只是一个 data sheet 不是 for data mining for machine learning. OK, so we just close. 把它关掉了哈。OK, so let us go back to the chapter 2. Okay, it's time for us to upload the data to your cloud. 好，我先暂停一下下因为不要录太久。好，我先让各位同步一下，好不好？